Are you ready for the best damn sports talk show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
You know on the beat every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that then. While I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who's coming to the sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, still listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Starts like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches, won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live, all 3 speakers go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? It is the Wyatt Williams here for the show today, and we have an awesome show planned out for you. We have MLB Power Rankings. Hoffy's going to be coming on in a little bit. We have some AFC draft grades for the West, AFC West draft grades coming up. So I'll welcome on the boys here in just a moment. Before, I would like to mention, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. We appreciate it very much. Feel free to join the members only on YouTube for $9.99 a month, and you get a hoodie every single year. And absolutely. So with that being said, we're going to welcome on the meatball himself, Brandon B.C. Combs.
What did I tell you before about calling me the meatball? Like that's like a privileged name. Like, you don't get to call me meatball unless you know me. And you don't know me. Why? We ain't cool like that.
I do know you.
All right, I'm just joking. We're cool like that.
Exactly. So, Mother's Day, anything crazy you do for Mother's Day?
Nothing crazy. You know, Michelle, and so this is a funny story. So Michelle and I share a bank account, right? So it's hard to buy her a gift without her knowing how much money I'm spending on the gift. So I bought Michelle, she's always asking for a foot massage. She's always asking for me to rub her feet. So I was like, you know what? What's something that she would need but would never ask for? Because she doesn't ask for anything. She's just not that type of person. I was like, you know what? How about one of those good like shiatsu foot massagers that heat up and all that stuff?
Oh, yeah.
So I call her brother and I'm like, look, I want to buy your sister this gift. I said, but I don't want to know how much I spent on it. So I'm going to give you the cash, but you buy it for me. And so he does. He buys it. And I said, well, I'll give you the cash. He's like, well, just wait because I owe Michelle some money, so just let me figure out how much I owe her, and then we'll deduct that and blah, blah, blah. That's all right, not a problem. So Michelle gets her gift today, and her brother is downstairs talking to her. He came over. I was upstairs, but I heard him come in. And then I'm getting dressed, and I hear him go, oh, yeah, I got to settle up with Brandon about the gift. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? So I go downstairs, and I go into the kitchen, and he comes into the kitchen, and he goes, hey, this is how much it is. I said, I know how much it was. Remember me telling you that I needed you to buy this so she didn't know how much I spent on the gift? He's like, yeah, why? And I'm like, because you just told her you needed to settle up with me on the gift. He's like, yeah, but she doesn't know how much it was. I was like, yes, but I have to go get you cash, correct? He's like, yeah. I was like, how do I get cash? Out of the ATM, correct? He's like, yeah, out of the ATM. I said, okay, so what's she going to see when I take the money out of the ATM? He's like, oh, shit. I'm like, oh, you know the old Bubba from what was it? That movie there, yeah,
Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump, yeah. I'm not a smart man.
Well.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oops.
Whoops.
Yeah. Yeah. So now Michelle knows how much I spent on her gift, and which isn't a big deal. But
well, hey, at least you're loved, Michelle. At least he got you something nice, right? So happy Mother's Day to you, Michelle. Happy Mother's Day to my mom. But hey, somebody else who's coming on here who has a mom as well, Tori. Tori, what's going on, man?
I thought you were going to say happy Mother's Day to Tori.
I did too. At first, I was a little baffled. I'm like, how do you know I have a mom? Maybe I was a test tube baby.
So,
oh my God.
oh my Lord. So, Tori, I got a question for you here, man. And it's something that we talked about a lot on this show, and you boasted quite a bit about how terrible the Cubs were and how great the Brewers were. So, I'm gonna put you on the spot right here, okay? If you could sum up in one word how the Brewers' season has gone since they were ranked number 1 in Hoffy's power rankings, how would you sum that up?
Well, I don't know how to spell this word, but I don't know how to spell that one. I mean,
think it's like FART.
They got back on track this weekend. They took 2 out of 3 from the Marlins, but this week was just awful and painful to watch.
So I asked Hoffy to do me a favor this week, and I said, hey, Hoff, if you could do me a favor and make the Brewers number 1, the Cardinals number 2, and then the Yankees number 3, because then what we'll do is all 3 of them will just go into a tailspin, and we'll be a couple of happy baseball fans. That's all we need to do. And Hoffy was like, you know what? He's like, that's not a problem. He's like, but I was thinking about putting the Cubs back in my top 10 after the week that they had. I said, don't you dare. Don't you dare!
Stop.
You leave them at 32, right where you had them.
We're gonna have to tell Hoffy to not put any of our teams in there because it's like a curse. He's the new Madden curse. That's what he is.
So I mean, speaking of the Cubs, I don't get it, Combs, and you've been a Cubs fan longer than I have, so I'm sure you can relate to this. How do we lose to the Reds in EI? But then turn around and beat the Dodgers on 2 walk-offs. The reigning World Series champion, the best team in baseball, but we lose to the Reds. What?
So
how does that make sense?
I hear fans ask that all the time. And look, first of all, each series is different. Each team is playing differently. Right now, the Reds are just scoring at a phenomenal clip. I mean, their offense is still scoring at a high rate.
They are the worst high-scoring team I've ever seen in my entire life in any sport. Like, it makes no sense.
And then when we face the Dodgers were just they're in a tailspin right now. The Dodgers have kind of they've forgotten how to hit. They've forgotten how to pitch. They're just in a tailspin right now. The Reds are actually, I mean, we talked about the Reds being better than what we thought they were going to be at the beginning of the season. We thought that they were one of those sleeper teams, especially in this division, that could end up being really bad. And then we come out like today and we battle against the Pirates. We ultimately lose 6-5, but the Cubs are that team that is scrappy. They're not going to go away. They're going to be a hard out no matter what the case is. They weren't hitting very well early in the season, and then they figured out how to hit, and then all of a sudden we're scoring 9 runs but losing 10-9, and the pitching all of a sudden started failing us. So once they put all that together and once both of those things start spinning together, they'll be all right in this division. They're still only going to be an 86, 85 win team somewhere in that area, but that might be good enough to get you to win the Central.
Yeah, so the question for our intro here, before we get to our first break, and we'll all go around the horn here and answer this question, but I was about to say Hoffy.
Oh, God.
No, Hoffy's not on yet.
Chris
so Combs
Sims is back.
Oh, man, Chris Sims.
Yeah, Chris Sims.
Chris Sims is here.
Chris Sims.
Oh, man. All right, so Combs, we'll start with you. The question of our intro here to the show is, would you rather have a perfect game through 7 innings, or would you rather have a complete game, 9 innings, no hitter?
Well, since they don't count them as perfect games now, I guess I would rather have the no-hitter through 9, just because if I do it in 7, which is stupid that they don't count it, by the way, absolutely asinine that they don't count one single record. That's the only record they don't count in a 7-inning game, but they don't count it. So I would
it's
have
ridiculous
because
if it goes in the wins, if it goes in the wins and loss column, it should count. But Tori,
they count every other record.
Wow.
If you have a 19-game hitting streak, and you go 0 for 2 with a walk, you lose your 19-game hitting streak. So why? Like I don't know. You gotta get me going. We're gonna need another 45
Here we go.
minutes for this opening segment.
Michelle, put the ambulance back on speed dial.
So Tori, what would you say?
I'm the same thing as Brandon on this one. You take the 9-inning no hitter because that. apparently etches you in immortality, where a 7-inning perfect game, because it's a doubleheader, does not. Which I agree is the dumbest thing. So
it's annoying.
You penalize a guy for not throwing 9 innings because you said so.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like I don't like it. It gets me. It gets me fired up. We've got a lot of stuff going on in the chat. Chris Sims is coming at some of our fans right now.
Chris Sims is going crazy.
Vinny says Chris Bryant for MVP. Tori, I don't know what you think. So, look, Chris Bryant's having a hell of a first season or early start to the season, I should say.
You mean final season with the Cubs?
Well, and it very well could be. But I mean, look, if he does end up being the MVP, it might be hard to walk away from him. So I'm not going to get there until the end of the season, and then I'll make a decision on what maybe the Cubs might or might not do. But right now, early in the season, he started off this season on pace better than he did in 2016, which was his MVP season. Can he carry that through the rest of the season? Maybe, possibly, but I mean, injuries
probably
could come.
not.
I mean, the guys hitting around him are going to play a big part in that, because if they're not hitting, like if they find that strikeout hole again that they were in early in the season, it's going to be hard for him to maintain that pace. So, it's a little early now, but yeah, I mean, if you were picking an MVP right now, you were voting right now, I mean, sure, he'd be in the tops of the race.
He'd be in the conversation,
and then Chris Sims says Chris Bryant is trash.
Stop stealing my line. My line is to call almost everybody trash.
God.
Well, Chris Sims, your quarterback career was trash.
Buck calls everybody trash. Chris Sims is Buck. They are the same, I think.
They really are. No, no. So I mean, I think I do agree with you, Combs, on that one. I think that in my head, yes, it would be a perfect game, but in the record book, it wouldn't be. So I would much rather have something go in the record book rather than it not. So, I mean, it's not... And a no-hitter is almost as honorable as a perfect game. Of course, it is not, because it is not a perfect game.
There's been like 12 perfect games in the history of the game. There's been way more no. We almost had 2 no-hitters in the same night the other day.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
But like,
which this is an odd year though. I mean, normally you have 5 no-hitters in a season. We've had 5 in the first month and a half of a season.
It's been pretty crazy. No, so that's why I think I would.
My question for you guys on that though, with the deadened ball, do you think that has something to do with it? With like maybe a pitcher gets a little more break on the ball? To me, it just seems like maybe with that deadened ball, they might be getting just a little bit more break on that ball for their pitches.
I don't know why. What do you think? Would you rather hit a deadened ball or a live ball?
Probably I don't know, honestly. I think probably just a deadened ball.
Yeah. It's so. Look, I don't think that the dead ball has anything to really do with this. Look, there are still teams. Look at the Reds. I mean, the Reds aren't having any problems scoring runs. But I will tell you that this is the first time that I've seen this to this point in the season in Major League Baseball where no team has a winning percentage over 600, with the exception of the Kansas City Royals. So, like, they've been on this pace where, I mean, teams are they're not scoring well, and we're actually to a point now where in Major League Baseball, more teams have a negative run differential than a positive run differential. Like, that's insane to me. Like, you can't get to that point where there's more teams that are getting outscored than more teams that are outscoring, right? Because at the very worst, wouldn't you think that would be 50%? Like,
you would think.
You know, but it's not. I mean, teams are getting outscored. We're not seeing. You know, I think pitching's been an issue early in the season for a lot of teams. I think right now the thing that baseball has, you know, the issue with, and it's not a dead ball, it's the fact that they only played a 16-game season last year, and everybody's still going through COVID protocols. Everything's still new. Everybody's still trying to get used to all the stuff that is in place. And as you know, Tori, and I'm sure Wyatt, you know the same thing, baseball's a comfort sport. You have to be comfortable in your skin to be successful at this game. And if you're not comfortable, it's going to be a long season for you.
You know who's really comfortable in baseball right now? Christian Yelich on the frickin' DL still.
Yeah,
Hey,
and then you have one.
let me come back. Let me come back from the DL for 3 hours and then go back on it.
And then you got a pitcher who's lighting up the world, hasn't given up a walk all season, and now he's on the DL too.
They still are not releasing what happened. They're saying so. Part of it, the rumor is that he failed COVID protocol and he has that he has COVID. So he's.
I wish he would come back because he's sitting on my IL on my fantasy team, and he was tearing it up for me.
Right, he's on my fantasy team for our league.
Yeah, and I don't know what the hell happened. I was beating Wyatt, and then all of a sudden I was losing to Wyatt. I haven't checked the score up till now, but if I lose to Wyatt, I might just quit the show.
You said that last week.
Yeah, well, I won last
threats.
week.
All right, so we are going to head to break real quick. When we come back, we will jump right into the AFC West draft grades. So we will be right back here on Man Hour. And welcome back to the show. We have got an awesome, jam-packed show coming up for you. You see the boys here, _Combs, _Tori, and we are about ready to dive deep into the AFC West draft grades. So getting us started off with this one, we are going to go Tori first, and we're going with Buck's team, even though ironically he is not here tonight with us. I would have loved to hear what he's had to say about this, but we're going to start off with the Chiefs.
I'm so glad he's not here to talk about this.
I'm sure you are.
I mean,
so,
geez,
Tori.
Crow. Only thing worse than listening to you guys talk Packers is listening to that guy talk Chiefs.
Jeez. So, Tori, it's all you, big guy.
Sorry, I'm doing nothing but talking trash over in the chat on YouTube to Chris Sims.
Chris Sims is a joke.
He's
here. He's
the
watching
fake
live.
Chris Sims, the real Chris Sims. Either way, they're both a joke.
Right. So, do you want my draft grade? Are we doing best play or best pick, worst pick? What are we doing here?
Best pick first. So best pick for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Nick Bolton, their second round pick. Nick Bolton, I thought was going to be gone in the probably mid to late first round pick. Lasted to 58 on the board. They got a great linebacker out of Missouri there. I was a really big fan of Nick Bolton prior to the draft and during the draft process. I was actually hoping Green Bay would have selected him to kind of help solve their inside linebacker woes, but alas, they did not. And the Kansas City Chiefs picked him up, and to me, that just means the rich got richer on that one.
All right, Combs.
Yeah, so I'm also going with the second round pick, but I'm going with a different second round pick. I'm going with the center Creed Humphrey. Humphrey's just an excellent fit for this offensive line that needs to be rebuilt, and I think that in the very near future, probably week 1, this kid could be pushing for a starting job. That offensive line was absolutely depleted. They needed to go somewhere on that offensive line, and they got that in Humphrey. And Humphrey was outstanding at Oklahoma, so that's where I'm going with their best pick.
Yeah, just to add to what you said about Humphrey, he had, I believe it was of all of the starts he had at Oklahoma. Every single snap, it was like 4,000, something like that. His entire career there, he allowed 0 sacks. He did not allow one sack his entire time while in college. So that was a big steal for them in the second round. But the best pick for them, in my opinion, I'm going to reach way back into the draft, and we're going with an offensive lineman here, but we're going to go Trey Smith, guard out of Tennessee. This was a guy who was projected a first-round pick. And had a situation in 2018 with some blood clots, had to drop back in the draft. The blood clots seemingly are gone at the moment. So if this guy is able to play, he is unbelievably talented, and he is going to make a big impact for the Chiefs. They did a lot of really good stuff for their offensive line in this draft. I was very impressed. It's really all the stuff they did because, when you think about it, they used their first-round pick on an offensive tackle, even though they didn't draft one, of course, because they got Orlando Brown out of Baltimore. So they bring him in. Then you've also get Humphrey out of Oklahoma, you get Smith out of Tennessee. I mean, this offensive line is really rebuilding, and plus you get the one, I'm going to forget his name, of course, now, but he's coming back after he's a doctor, and he joined the medical force to help fight COVID, but he's going to return this season. So Patrick Mahomes, what seemed to be their biggest issue of offensive line, ironically, the Chiefs listened to their quarterback and, make him happy, and that's why he's going to stay for a long time, unlike other teams.
I was going to say, Wyatt, what do you know about anybody listening to their quarterback during draft time? I mean, you're a Packers fan.
Yeah. Well, clearly, my team knows nothing about it, actually. So maybe they could take a page out of the Chiefs' book here, because they went out and they got him some really good protection, so he won't be touched. Really just solved the needs that he had. So I don't know. It's ironic how things work like that, and they're a Super Bowl contender. But anyways, no salt here being thrown. Combs, your worst pick of the draft for the Chiefs.
So my worst draft pick for the Chiefs is going to be Cornell Powell, the wide receiver out of Clemson. I don't understand this pick. Wide receiver, for one, is not a need for them. Kick returner is not a need for them. They had no need for a wide receiver. If you're going to reach just because you're in the 6th round and you need to, pick a body, I mean, there are a lot of different spots on this team that you could have gone and tried to add some depth. But for me, wide receiver was not one of them. So Cornell Powell was just a head scratcher for me.
Tori?
For me, it was Joshua Kando, the edge rusher out of Florida State. Super freaky athletic edge rusher, but just not a lot. Doesn't have a lot for pass rush moves. He would move his hands around. Didn't do it enough. Doesn't really have like a pass rush artillery behind him. So I don't know how well his game's going to translate. They're again a 4th round pick, but again, when the rich get richer, all you're doing is you can afford to have a poke and pray draft pick like that. So maybe now that I said that, Joshua Kane will probably be like the next like Reggie White or something.
All pro, perennial, Hall of Famer.
He's gonna be a Hall of Famer. At his acceptance speech, Tori Anderson from the Man Hour said I would be nobody. Tori, F you.
Yeah. Absolutely. And Buckeyes has already come and asked because we're talking about his boys. He's like, they lost Watkins. They needed to add another guy. All right, you could have added another guy in free agency and not in the sixth round of the draft. They didn't really lose
Watkins. Watkins was never on the field because he was always hurt.
Yeah.
Okay, Watkins hasn't really been there for a while.
Are we really surprised that Buck doesn't know what he's talking about? I mean, let's be real here. He doesn't know what he's talking about when he's on the air, let alone when he's in the comments.
Yeah, so my worst pick by far, I think, is Noah Gray, tight end out of Duke. There is zero need for this team for tight end. You've already got arguably, I'll go ahead and say not arguably, the best tight end in the league. Receiving yards wise, touchdown wise, the stats are there. You watch him play, you know it's there. I mean, he's an amazing tight end, one of the top in the league. And I didn't really understand the reach there. I feel like it was a reach. He's a guy they could have, if they were looking for a tight end to add some depth, he's a guy they could have got later. There's also better guys there at that time. And I really just wasn't a fan of Noah Gray. His tape isn't really, nothing really pops out to me. The route running isn't, it's subpar. It's all right. It's not great. The hands are okay. The blocking is a little down. I'm not a big fan of Noah Gray. So the pick wasn't a big fan of what they did with the pick, and everything going with it. So Noah Gray is definitely mine for them. So
isn't it always a head scratcher when you like your team comes up to the podium and they're like, we take such and such from such and such position out of Duke, and you're like, wait, what? Wait, we're not playing basketball.
Yeah,
what are we doing here?
Ask the Giants about Daniel Jones with that one. That whole place. Oh my gosh! You guys remember that draft night? They picked them, and the whole place was like, "What?
What just happened?" Yeah, it was kind of like Bears fans' face with Mitch Trubisky.
David Cutcliffe is a mastermind when it comes to offensive stuff, though. He's turning that program around. They're not great. They're not a household name.
Yeah, but they still need a quarterback.
Right. But they're better than they used to be.
That man got tackled by the 20-yard line.
So, Tori, your draft grade for the Chiefs?
Overall, I gave them a B. I feel like I'm going like carte blanche there, like a B, because it just sounds like, the average. But that's it. They were average. But, they got great value in Nick Bolton. I agree with Brandon. They got great value a couple picks later with Creed Humphrey as well. And then, in the middle there, I wasn't a fan of the pick of Kane. I also wasn't a fan of the pick of Noah Gray. The only thing I can think of is maybe they hope to develop him and then trade him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Could be. But then I do believe they ended strong with Cornell Powell and with Trey Smith as well. So overall, I think they had a B. So they started off pretty good. They went to crap, and then they came back up. So
yeah, and that's why I went with a C for this grade. I did like the pickups of Humphrey and Bolton in the second round, but for me, the rest of the draft was just kind of head scratching. They wait until the sixth round before they draft anybody else on the offensive line. They drafted defensive end, tight end, and wide receiver with the following three picks, and it's just you've got so much need on that offensive line, and this was such an offensive line rich draft all the way through the draft, not just in the first couple of rounds, all the way through the draft. This draft was rich with offensive line help, and they just didn't go out and grab anything. So for me, it was a head scratcher. I gave him a C.
Yeah, so, I mean, I really liked the pick of Trey Smith. I liked Humphreys. I really liked Bolton as well. I feel like they solved a lot of needs with good players. So, I mean, I was a fan of that, but, the pick of Noah Gray, they had a couple of head scratchers. So, I mean, I will say they did really good with their good picks. Like, it seemed like their picks were either really good or just kind of head scratcher, but I do think there was more good than there was bad. So I give them a B- on their draft. So that is how we close out the Chiefs. Next, we will have the Raiders. So I'll start here on the Raiders. We'll start with best pick, then we'll work into worst pick, of course, and then grade. And the Raiders is the fun one because,
a best pick?
I mean, in my opinion, the only good pick they had was Trevin Moehrig, safety out of TCU. That's it. I mean, he's a guy who should have been a first rounder. They got him in the second round. I was impressed with where they got him. If they would have picked Moehrig with their first pick, it still would have been their best pick. Who they picked at 1, we'll get to that in a minute, was horrible. God awful. We'll get to that in a minute, though, and their draft grade will show. I don't know, though. I mean, the draft just wasn't impressive for me, but Trevin Moehrig, safety out of TCU, was the only high I think that the Raiders fans have on this one because he's a good safety, should have been a first rounder. They got him in the second round. It was a steal for them. And they've already got a really good safety they picked a couple of years ago in Jonathan Abrams out of Mississippi State, so their safety crew is going to be good now. That's the only thing I think they did good in this, though. Like you said, Combs, it was a really good pick. Other than this, no, not at all in my opinion. But speaking of, we'll toss it to Torrey now. Torrey, their best pick.
I agree. Trevon Moehrig was probably their best pick. Literally, I think their first and second round pick should have been flip-flopped.
Yeah, for sure.
So how he lasted into the second round, I will never know.
It's a good pick for them, though.
You watch his tape and you watch him play, and he reminds me a ton of Derwin James when Derwin James was at Florida State. Like hyper athletic, super bendy, just got ball hawking skills. Like this guy is the real deal. And how he didn't go in the first round, no clue how. And I'll agree with you. Yeah, their first round pick was absolute trash. And I'll get into the rest of their draft.
Exactly. We got more coming on these guys.
Going to the rest of their draft because it's the Raiders. It's like, what are you doing? But then you're like, well, it's the Raiders. They don't know what they're doing.
I mean, it's like, John, never mind. Combs, you got the floor, sir. We'll get to John Gruden here in a minute. Yeah, exactly.
So, look, I'm one of those guys who I kind of look outside the box. And I try to look at from all angles and say, hey, why did you do this? Hey, why did you do that? All right, well, now I can see it. I can't see it with any of their picks. Like, I don't have a good pick for the Oakland or for the Las Vegas Raiders. I mean, Leatherwood was a huge reach. They picked him at 17. I mean, there were some boards he wasn't even going until 62nd. So, like, I didn't understand, especially with some of the guys that were still on there. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Cosme was still available.
Yes.
I mean, you had a lot of...
Cosme was still available. Tevin Jenkins was still available.
Tevin Jenkins, and he slips all the way to the Bears in the second round.
What, Darrisaw was still available as well, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Darrisaw was still available.
I think if I had to pick a best out of all of their draft picks, if I had to pick a best, I'm probably going with the safety out of Virginia Tech, Divine Diablo. I think I just like his name because he's Diablo, but he was one of those guys. I mean, he's 6'3", 226 pounds. It's got long arms. He's got all the stuff that you want to see out of a safety. So I'm gonna go there just because, again, I don't really believe they had a good pick. There were just no good picks from this team in this draft. It was another horrible draft from the Raiders organization.
Yeah. So I'll get us kicked off on the worst pick here, and I think everybody's going to mutually agree on this one. I feel like on draft night, John Gruden in the war room looks at himself and looks around the room at Mike Mayock and everybody, and is like, let's pick whoever Alabama or Clemson have on the board. Let's reach for whatever Bama or Clemson player is there, whether if it's Clinton Farrell with the 4th overall pick, whether if it's Alex Leatherwood now, whether if it's Henry Ruggs last year, whoever it may be, just as long as they went to Alabama or they went to Clemson, so what? They played in a national championship game. They must be good. I cannot stand the way that they draft. There were better Alabama linemen, let alone linemen, on the board, let alone football players. I cannot believe they picked Alex Leatherwood. Of all the tackles, of all the offensive linemen, of all the Alabama players on the board, you went so wrong that it's not even funny. This is a guy you probably could have gotten in the 3rd round. There was a 60% chance that Alex Leatherwood would have been there in the 3rd round. 3rd round.
Yeah.
Not just 2nd, 3rd. There is a better than 50% chance that he would have been there in the 3rd. And I believe it was like a 30% chance that he would have been there in the 4th. So there's still a decent chance that you would see this guy in the 4th round, and you picked him at 17. What? Are you kidding me? If they would have picked Moehrig at 17, I'd have been like, hey, good pick there. Moehrig's a good safety. I think he'll be a good safety in the league. You add to your DB core. But I mean, it's so weird because they go ultimate reach and then they go ultimate steal. It's like I don't even know who you guys are. What is happening right now? What is going on?
You look at their third round with Malcolm Kuntz and Divine Diablo, and then you go even further. You got Tyree Gillespie and Nate Hobbs, the cornerback out of Illinois. Nate Hobbs, I believe, had one interception in each season at Illinois, and
but he had Lovie Smith as a coach.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like he should have been with Lovie Smith as a coach. He should have been more productive. On his defense. Lovie Smith is a defensive type guy. Lovie Smith's defense with the Chicago Bears was an amazing defense. They went to the Super Bowl. So then you got like guys like Malcolm Kuntz, who's an edge rusher
Did
out
they
of
win
Buffalo
the Super Bowl
in the third round. Really? That's where you want to go with this?
Peyton Manning has entered the chat.
They decided to play a cover. They decided to play a cover 2 in the second half when they were smacking Peyton Manning in the mouth, and they let him pick them apart. But anyways, this draft for the Las Vegas Raiders was awful, and Michael Buckeister is guys. What, Buck? You're like you're like Stewie from Family Guy. Mom, mommy. And then he comes off with this.
I'm just surprised Buck spelled guys right 4 times in a row.
Then Crocs is having a 20% off. Hey, 20% off at Crocs. That ain't bad.
Who the hell wears Crocs?
I just got a look from Nikki behind the camera
Apparently
here. 20% off at Crocs. Hold on now. I'll be there next week. Okay, so we've all mutually agreed here that the Raiders pretty much picked everyone worse, but there was a clear standout worse than Alex Leatherwood. So as we go to give our draft grades here, I'll start and I'll be generous.
Wait. We didn't. Me and Brandon don't get to give our worst draft pick.
Oh, I thought you did. My bad. Sorry.
They were all the worst draft pick.
I got mentally fired up here. Sorry.
The rest of their draft was awful. They drafted 3 safeties. How many safeties do you start?
Yeah.
They're looking to run a dime package this year, Tori. Every single down, they'll have a dime package in, okay?
My thing is did they just throw darts at a freaking dartboard?
Yeah. It was.
John's like,
yeah.
Okay.
And now imagine coming into camp. The 3, you'll be like, all right, guys, line up at your positions. You're gonna have 17 guys lining up at safety, and then you're gonna have the rest of the defense.
Hey, John Gruden's like, hey, I'm closing my eyes and throw it at the board. Whatever it lands on, we'll get. It's like, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Was that John Gruden or was that the guy from Waterboy?
I can't Bobby Boucher would have drafted better than John Gruden did this year. It was terrible. It was
Chris
horrible.
Sims would have drafted better than
Chris Sims.
Oh, man.
They could have taken a kicker at 17, and I would have been more pleased with than Leatherwood going there. They could have taken a long snapper, okay? And I probably would have been less heated about Leatherwood. I mean, there was a better Alabama offensive lineman, Landon Dickerson, on the board.
Buck finally comes up with some relevant information here. He says they run a 4-2-5. You need 3 safeties in a 4-2-5. They
drafted Jonathan Abrams last year or 2 years ago in the first round. They've already got a first round safety, so now you're just adding more to it. And then I believe they've already got, who's their other safety? They got 2 decent safeties, and their cornerback crew isn't terrible. I mean, their DB room isn't bad. They went after it like they had lost every single DB on planet Earth, and nobody wanted to play for the Raiders, so they just draft all.
See, and it's funny too because every time you say DB, I think of John Gruden.
God. Just a joke. I mean, joke. It's a joke. I can't stand.
I think that one went over Wyatt's
head. The Raiders are a joke.
It's like, I mean, and they can't, like, I don't get it. They can't decide between Derek Carr and Mariota. Now they've got Josh Jacobs, a solid option at running back, all this stuff, and they bring in Kenyon Drake. It's like, how can we derail this franchise and run into the ground?
Draft grades or
all right, grades. What? Yes, we'll go grades. Like I said, I'll be generous with this.
Now you're going to be generous with them?
Oh, I'm gonna be generous. You ready?
This entire
you want to hear generous? F minus. That was generous. That was generous. I could have tacked on 30 more. No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, draft grade because of Morik. That is a huge steal for me. I got him at a D minus. I didn't give him an F because they had one good pick. I think to have an F, you have to have the worst Every single pick has to be terrible. And I think Morig was a good pick, so I give him a D-. Like, if a 59 is fail, they have a 60.00. They are 0.01 away from failing.
That would be 60.
So they have a 60?
Yes. Correct.
If
Gosh.
I don't know.
59 is failing, they have a 60.00. So
All right,
60.
Combs, there you go. Take it away. What do you got on your draft grades for the Raiders? The Raiders.
I'm giving them an F. I'm giving them an F.
Generous.
And it's just it's horrible. The draft was horrible. It's been horrible with the Raiders. I don't know what the Raiders are doing. So yeah, no, they get a big fat F from me. If 59 is failing, then they get a 58.00000.
Jeez. Hey Brandon, that's a 58. Tori, just start telling us what grade you're giving them. Jesus.
I'm going to give them an F for fantastic failure because they just bombed it and every
So
spot.
did you with that joke.
Yeah, somebody's got to introduce dad jokes into this thing. Somebody's got to pretend that they're funny and they're really not. That's me. That's my shtick.
Okay.
I'm 44 years old. I'm a man. So
Yell at me.
Come after me. I'm a man. Oh my god.
I'm a man.
That's another sports
ever.
figure I just can't deal with. I was like, dude, shut your mouth. God. Oklahoma State will never be the same. Anyway, so now moving on to the Chargers. Best pick. We'll kick it to Tori first on this one. So Chargers, sir, take it away.
Again, a second round pick. A guy that should have never been there, Asante Samuel Jr. Obviously, we all know his father played in the NFL for many, many years. He's got that pedigree. He's got that bloodline. He fell to number 47. Again, the guy that nobody thought was going to be around in that second round. I figured he'd go maybe mid to late first round, and that's kind of where they were predicting him to go. And then he just kept falling and falling and falling. Every year you got those 4 or 5 guys that just fall in free fall mode that for whatever reason people aren't picking them up. But yeah, give me Asante Samuel Jr. all day long. They got to steal. That secondary in the charge for the Chargers this year is going to be ridiculous, even with the loss of Casey Hayward.
Combs.
Yeah, so I'm staying right in the first round. I love the pick of Rashawn Slater. I love my guy out here out of Northwestern. It was just a fantastic pick. They needed to go ahead and protect the quarterback, and that's what they did here. Asante Samuel was another fantastic. They had a really great draft in L.A., and I like the pick of Asante Samuel Jr. I love the pick of Trey McKitty out of Georgia. So I can keep going and going on this list. They had a lot of picks in this draft, but Rashawn Slater, to me, to solidify that offensive line for Justin Herbert was just a phenomenal pick for them. I love that pick. I really felt like the Bengals missed an opportunity when they passed on an offensive tackle, and they could have had Rashawn Slater, or they could have had our boy out of Oregon. I can't think of his name right off the top of my head. Penei Sewell. And they passed on those guys to protect their young quarterback. The Chargers did not do so. They decided to protect their young quarterback, and it was a great pick of Rashawn Slater.
Yet again, another GM and franchise that actually, puts their quarterback's needs first. Couldn't relate. But anyways, I'm going to go with the same thing that you just said here, Combs. Rashawn Slater, offensive tackle out of Northwestern. I think he, other than Penei Sewell, maybe even more than Penei Sewell, he is the most NFL-ready lineman in this draft. I mean, the guy is a beast. Go watch the tape. He pancakes guys left and right. The pass protection is there. The guy is, like I said, he's just an absolute beast. It is so much fun to watch him play. And I really don't know if they went with a bad pick in this draft. Like Combs said, they had a really good draft. And of course, my ranking later on will show that. But I mean, Rashawn Slater, I think of all the picks still, that one to be the best pick, it was tough to do because of how great their draft was, but I think Rashawn Slater was a really good pick for them, and he is going to be, excuse me, he is going to be somebody that you can pair with your quarterback that will last for a very long time. So, and worst pick, Torrey Sir.
So I'm going to go with the 6th round pick. We're nitpicking at this point. But Larry Roundtree III out of Missouri. The big knock on him is he has no vision. And when you're a running back, you need to have that. The kid has got speed to burn for days, and he'll go from 0 to 100 real quick. He's got a multi-cut ability, but he just doesn't read the blocks. He doesn't have good vision as to where to go. He is just this is where I'm supposed to go and accelerator down, and he doesn't care if he runs into his back of his lineman and falls down because that's where he was supposed to go. And the where I think that he won't be successful in the NFL is because he doesn't have that vision. You can't teach an NFL running back vision. That is something that is just naturally that they have. And it's really hard to try to teach that to somebody to be patient and wait for those blocks and wait for plays to develop. You know, it's like I said, he's got speed for days, but that's the big problem is he'll go 0 to 100 right away, and he'll get there before the play develops.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with the same one you just said, Larry Roundtree III. I feel like we've done this a lot. It's if I have to pick a bad pick, that's the one I'm choosing. I don't think it's a bad pick. They add depth to the running back position, something that they always do. They always have a really good running back room in LA for the Chargers. So, like I said, if I had to choose a bad pick, I guess I would pick this one. I still don't think it's a bad pick, though. I still think it's a good pick. I think they just had an all-around phenomenal draft. But like I said, if I had to pick one, this would be mine. And Combs, yours, sir.
Yeah, so I actually have them with just one bad pick, and that was their 4th-round pick, the edge rusher from Duke in Chris Rumph for the 2nd. I just didn't understand this one. I didn't understand the need to go out and get an edge rusher. I mean, you've already got Joey Bosa. You've already got Jerry Tillery. And they got this other kid, too, Gaziano. I can't remember his first name. But he was, like, that need there, especially in the 4th round, I just felt like it was kind of a reach. It didn't really fill a need for them. I felt like there were bigger needs for this Chargers team. I do believe that this team is going to be able to compete for the AFC West here probably within the next 2 years after Justin Herbert gets a couple years underneath them. I think they're going to make a push, and I think they're going to be able to be that team that knocks off the Chargers. I just didn't understand that pick of Rumph
Knocks off the Chiefs, you
in
mean?
the 4th round. What's that?
Knocks off the Chiefs, you mean?
What'd I say?
You said the Chargers.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. The Chiefs.
Wait, don't. I'm so. I got to you before Chris Sims did. So.
So Torrey,
Sims.
sir, take it away for your draft grade, sir.
I am going to go with A- for them. They kind of nailed their draft. Rashawn Slater. I always want to call him Slaughter because that's probably what he's going to do to a defensive lineman in the NFL.
Yes.
So, love that pick. I would love the Asante Samuel pick. The Josh Palmer pick was a sneaky good pick in the 3rd round. Trey McKitty was a little bit of a reach just because he's more of a blocking tight end than he is a receiving threat. But again, if you got a tight end that can block, you can teach him to catch a ball. So that's not a bad thing for me. I actually like the Chris Rumph pick because it gives them the depth to rotate guys in and out. And you constantly have the guys in there that can rush the passer. So I actually really like that. And they may even try to make him a linebacker. He's 6'4", 235 pounds. That's perfect size for an outside back.
Yeah, and it's nice for them to add depth because really last year they were a good team. Of course, their record, I think they were 6-10, doesn't show that, but they were in every single game they played. Their biggest problem all last year was health on the defensive side of the ball, and that's always been the story for them for the last couple of years. Derwin James, you had Joey Bosa was out for a while. Melvin Ingram spent some time out. So the Chargers really just defensively, injuries has really been what's killed them. So adding the depth has been nice for them, but I'm going to agree with Torrey on this one. I'm going to even go a little farther. He said an A-. I'm going to give him just a straight-up A because I don't really see a point in the draft where they went wrong. I think they had a really good draft. I think it's one of the top 5 drafts in the league. And like I said, they cover all needs. They addressed what they needed to, added depth at positions that they needed to. So, I mean, I can't complain at all. I give them an A.
Yeah, I'm going to go. They are one of only 2 teams in this draft that I'm giving an A+ to, and this is one of them. I really liked their draft. I liked everything that they did in their draft. Again, I questioned the Rumph pick, but other than that, I really liked what they did. I really liked where they added at positions, at needs, and so I went with an A+. I think that they really did a good job of winning, partly winning this draft. There's one other team which I'm sure you guys know, and you guys hate me for it, but them and the Bears are the only two teams in this draft that I had an A+ on.
The A+ was because of the first and the second round pick. Am I correct?
No, it was their entire draft was really good.
Oh, I was just saying, I figured after the first two picks, you were like, you know what? I don't care if they draft a punter for the next 7 or 5 rounds.
They definitely could have drafted the female punter out of Purdue, and it still would have been an A+. But no, the Bears finally had a really good draft. It's been a long time since I've given the Bears anything above a C in a draft, so it's not like I'm not that homer that just says, oh, just because they're the Bears, I get an A+. No, the Bears killed this draft, but for me, the Chargers were that other team that absolutely killed their draft.
All right, so our final team here is going to be the Broncos, and I'll start us off here for the best pick, and I'm going to go with Javonte David, running back out of North Carolina, their second rounder. Patrick Surtain was a great pick with the first pick.
Javonte Williams.
Javonte Williams?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I don't know why I put that, but Javonte Williams, running back out of North Carolina, really good running back out of North Carolina. He is a strong runner, a guy who was projected to possibly fall into that first round there at the very end, but slipped to the second round. It was a nice pick for them. Like I said, Patrick Surtain was a nice addition for them, but at the end of the day, I didn't want to just go with a top 10 pick because, of course, that would be a good pick. You can't really go – you can go wrong there, of course. Combs knows all about going wrong in the top 10. The Bears do that quite often. Not this year, though.
The Bengals did it this year.
Well, yeah, that's true. But yeah, I'm going to go with Javonte Williams, running back out of North Carolina. Tori?
I'm going to go with their first third-round pick, Quinn Miners. Quinn Miners went to a small school literally just down the road from me, about 15 miles, called UW Whitewater. This is a kid that played D3 ball his entire career, got invited to the Senior Bowl, and dominated all the D1 athletes that he played against. He got voted one of the best players by his teammates at the Senior Bowl, and he ended up going in the third round. They had actually had a second-round grade on this kid, so for him going to 98 to them, obviously a little bit homer on this one just because I am seriously pulling for this kid just because he's a D3 guy. I don't care if it's a small school athlete guy. I'm always going to pull for that guy to just become dominant when he goes into the NFL. But he's a solid football player, and one of the big problems there in Denver is their offensive line outside of their quarterback play as well. So when they trade for Aaron Rodgers, Rodgers will at least be protected.
I'm going right with the first round draft pick. I'm going with Patrick Surtain. I know you say you can't really go wrong with a top 10 draft pick, but like you said, I know all about going wrong with top 10 draft picks. I'm a Bears fan. But Patrick Surtain, now you line him up opposite of Kyle Fuller. These two cornerbacks right here are going to shut down a lot of good wide receiver tandems. And we know that there's a wide receiver tandem in this division, maybe two of them in this division, that are really going to need to be held at bay in Kansas City and in Los Angeles.
Really, this whole division is very impressive for their wide receiver course.
Yeah, it's one of those things, and I really like the pickup of Patrick Surtain, especially after adding Kyle Fuller. I mean, they wasted no time once the Bears released Kyle Fuller in signing him. It was a huge pickup for them. Kyle Fuller, to me, is a top 5 cornerback in this league, and adding Patrick Surtain to that just makes this secondary really, really dangerous.
Well, and Surtain also adds a whole new dynamic to your defense. He could play safety as well, so that's a good pick for them too. Real Swiss Army knife in the DB crew. But kicking us off here for their worst pick. Once again, it's another good draft. If I had to pick a bad pick, I'm going to go Caden Stearns, safety out of Texas. Once again, nothing really pops off in the film room. Also, I felt like you kind of covered the safety issue in a way with Patrick Surtain.
And they picked 2 safeties in the 5th round.
Yeah, so I think you went a little safety heavy. And I think Caden Stearns is the worst of all the safeties. So, like I said, if I had to pick a bad pick, I think it's Stearns.
Why do you hate Texas?
Why do you think I hate
legit
Texas?
Question.
I don't hate Texas. I would actually love to go to Texas.
I don't think you do.
Why do you hate the
Texas.
University of Texas football team?
I don't. What do you think I do?
because you never say anything good about the Texas Longhorns ever. Which
When
I
have
would
I ever
because
said-
I
Nobody does.
absolutely I hate the Texas Longhorns too, so don't feel bad. So Marquise Spencer to me was probably their worst pick. Wait, didn't Chris Sims go to Texas?
Yeah, that was the worst player
So-
ever out of Texas, by the way.
I would
Chris
think
Sims
so.
was a joke.
Major Applewhite was a better quarterback than Chris Sims.
Yeah, so is my daughter.
So Marquise Spencer to be the edge rusher, and again nitpicking. This is a 7th round pick edge rusher that may or may not make the team. So I'm just being super picky at this one. 6'4", 300 pounds. How are you an edge rusher at 300 pounds? I mean, if they can figure out a way to make that work as an edge.
Well, I mean, Eddie Lacy was a running back at 400 pounds, so
Yeah.
This is true.
left guard that played a left guard that played running back.
So is Craig Hayward.
Eddie Lacy
though,
looked like he ate a left guard.
Lay off the cheeseburgers, bro. Come on.
Well, that's the thing is so like because
He looks like me.
While he was there, I lived in Green Bay, and so my parents,
You're too light skinned.
my parents were moving to Green Bay, and so they're like, "Oh, we got to find a place to live." And my dad was disabled at the time, and I found this 3-bedroom place. It was Eddie Lacy's place that was up for sale because he got his ass cut.
Yeah.
Did they go there?
No. Because my dad thought it was my dad was disabled, so he thought it was a great idea to buy a 3-bedroom giant house. And my mom just looked at him and said, "Who's going to clean it? You?"
Gosh, beast. Went right at his throat.
My worst draft pick for the Broncos was actually Quinn Meinerz out of Wisconsin Whitewater, and I'm gonna go there just because he played at Wisconsin Whitewater, and I don't know anything about this kid or anybody that he's played against or
Got a
with.
really cool story, actually.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's
check
hop, before we get into
D3 division champion.
Combs, hold on. You are the guy who literally said, "I would rather see the smaller schools win a national title than the big schools." Are you not a supporter of small school athletes?
Who knew
Why do you
Wisconsin
hate-
Whitewater was even a school?
I
They're
did once I heard of
in the
minors.
national title game every year.
They are
They won
every
what?
year. D3 program.
The D3 national title game.
There's
Them
5
and
teams in D3.
and Mount Union is it Mount Union? Yeah, Mount Union are like the
5 teams in
preeminent D3. Yeah, there's a ton of teams in D3.
Congratulations! Wisconsin
how many
Whitewater's that
D3
team
schools there are?
that's like, where's Wisconsin Whitewater? We finished second in the division this year. There's only 2 teams in our division, but still, we finished second in the division.
No, this
You
guy's
only
story's
like
pretty
them,
cool, actually.
Tory, because
He's
they have Wisconsin in their name.
He's
No,
a senior, and
Did
then he
you
gets
watch it?
invited to the
Did you
Senior
wa-
Bowl and
Senior
goes out and balls
Did
out.
you watch the tape at the Senior Bowl?
He balled out.
No,
Dominated.
I don't pay
He
attention to anybody from
dominated.
Wisconsin Whitewater. I don't pay attention to anybody from
How
Wisconsin,
can you,
let alone
how
Wisconsin
can you call yourself
Whitewater.
a sports journalist if you do not look at all aspects of it?
Oh, fair question. Hey,
Tory, I
speaking
will
of fair
throat punch
Call
you.
questions,
911 because
Speaking
there's
of-
the burn unit.
speaking of fair questions,
Look.
speaking of fair questions, Tori, what is your draft grade for the Denver Broncos?
They get an A. And absolutely, they get an A. They did not really miss on any pick. The other favorite pick of mine that we didn't really even talk about is Baron Browning in the 3rd round. Baron Browning, I think, is going to be a really good linebacker for them as well. He gets to learn from Von Miller, who's obviously still one of the best in the business. But I really like that pick. They get an A for me. They filled all their needs, and they started building a nice young roster with contracts they can afford. A couple more years, and if they got some needs, they're going to be able to go after some pretty big name free agents.
Tory's
fill in
like
those couple of
the
key spots
Oprah
to go to
of
the Super
draft
Bowl.
grades. He's like, you get an A, you get an A,
You get an A, you get an A.
Everybody gets an A.
Everybody gets one. No, I mean, I
Jeez,
think I
gave
him
a B.
plus.
I gave an A minus. I gave an F and an A.
Yes, so 2 A's.
A, B, A,
How
F.
many people getting A's from you?
Not many.
Oh,
Just
okay.
2 teams in this class. Or in this
No, I said how many
division?
people get an A from you, not give A to you.
If you would watch the YouTube videos and show up part timer.
Oh. All right.
Oh, all right, Combs. What is your draft grade?
That? I give him a B plus. I couldn't quite give him an A.
It doesn't matter what you think.
Yeah, I couldn't quite give him an A. I just, I was happy with the Patrick Surtain pick. The Javonte Williams pick was all right. But after that, I didn't understand 2 safeties in the 5th round, 2 defensive ends in the 7th round, and I don't know. I just think that they missed on both of those defensive ends as well. So to me, I couldn't quite give them an A. I did like the front end of their draft. I did not like the back end of their draft.
Alrighty, so now we're going to go to our next break here. We will be back very shortly to discuss some headlines. Albert Pujols, of course, out with the Angels. We got some new information coming on that, as well as what's another biggest headline in sports right now, Aaron Rodgers. What's going on with that? Adam Schefter possibly writing his own stories and being his own source. Who knows? We'll see you in 2 minutes. What is up, Man Hour Nation? It is the Wyatt Williams. We are back here to discuss some headlines right before Hoffy comes on in in a short 12-minute span. We will see him. We'll talk some baseball. But I would like to mention to everybody, please make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. It means a lot to us. Feel free to join the members only page on YouTube for $9.99 a month. You get a hoodie every single year as you see Combs pop in and out there. We will add the boys back to the show now. You see him here.
My bad.
_Combs. _Tori. What's up, Combs?
I was trying to get to you. Hoffy actually texted me earlier, and he's not going to be on the show tonight. So we will fill that in with some power rankings. We'll go off the ESPN power rankings and break those down.
Okay, cool. So no Hoffy tonight. We will have him on eventually, though, but we've still got our power rankings. We will have those momentarily, but kicking us off, we will start with baseball. Then we'll work into some Aaron Rodgers, right, guys? But Albert Pujols, Tori, you had the information, the newest information for us. Go ahead and tell us what that is. Well, first you gotta.
You're muted there.
Unmute
Ricky.
your mic.
I didn't even touch my mic, so how I muted it, I don't know.
Yeah, okay. Excuses.
So
Oh my god.
You know
It's
what
just
must
that
have happened? You know what must have happened?
that's
Hoppy
just
must have
telling me
put
that
you at
nobody
number
wants
1
to
on your
hear what I
power
wanna say.
rankings.
We should
Because when
Combs, we should have let him go. We should have let him just go and
yeah,
go
I
and
know.
go until he's
Just gone silent.
And then all of us just been like, yeah.
Yeah.
So Tori, go ahead and relay that
man.
new information on Albert Pujols on us.
wait till I learn sign language, and I'm just going to do the whole show on mute. And I'm just
I've
gonna
got some sign language for you.
My God.
So, the story broke kind of this morning that Pujols was released because him and Madden got into it and weren't getting along. I mean, also probably I'm sure the fact that you're hitting below the Mendoza line probably had something to do with it as well. But Pujols apparently was not happy about not being in the lineup Wednesday and got in Madden's face about it, and which led to his release. So, to me, what kind of standards does that set for your ball club? Is it a good thing or a bad thing for your ball club? Because is it the skipper drawing the line, or is it the veteran being tossed aside for being, too vocal?
Yeah, I mean, look, this guy is one of those guys. Look, Albert Pujols, we all know who Albert Pujols is, and we all know, the guy that Albert Pujols is as a baseball player. We've all grown up watching him. We have all loved the stuff that he does for the game. I mean, he has been one of those guys who, even though we all think he's like 57, which, I mean, him declining in age at 57 is miraculous as opposed to like 45, but Albert Pujols is one of those guys who's been a class act his entire career. But, and I say this, with a huge, a huge butt here. He has in the last.
Are you saying you like big butts and you cannot lie?
It's true, but in the last 4
Us
years,
other
with
brothers can't deny.
With the Los Angeles Angels, he's had a negative WAR in the last 4 years. He had a negative 1.8 WAR in 2017. He had a 0.3 WAR in 2018, a 0.2 WAR in 2019. Negative 0.1 WAR in 2020, and so far this season he's batting 198 with a negative 0.5 WAR. So it's been a long time coming. They've hung on to Albert Pujols as long as they could, but it was time for Albert Pujols to go. It was time for Albert Pujols to it's time for him to retire. It's time for him to sign that one-day contract with the Cardinals and retire a Cardinal, because that's what should happen here.
Yeah, I think it just kind of comes a point whenever the rubber just meets the road, and I think that we hit that with Albert Pujols. Tori, were you saying something, buddy?
No, I'm absolutely agreeing with all of that. He should sign, hang it up. I get it. It's not the farewell tour that you wanted, but it reminds me of, it's not exactly the same situation, but like the end of Griffey Jr.'s career, where they caught him in, like, when he was with the White Sox, and they caught him in the dugout, like, taking a nap. It's sad to see your idols go downhill and have to hang it up, but it happens to all of them. So unfortunately,
and every year that he was
Steve.
with the Cardinals, he finished no worse than 4th in the MVP race. So this guy was good for the first 11 years of his career, and then he went to he signed that big contract with the Angels, and we see those big contracts. They don't always pan out to guys who are all-star players after they sign those long contracts. We've seen it a lot. We saw it with A-Rod. We're seeing it with Pujols. It's just one of those things where I don't blame teams that are now saying, hey, I don't know if I really want to give a guy a 10 or 11-year contract unless your name is Mike Trout or Mookie Betts.
Or Fernando
Or Bryce
Tatis
Harper, and that
Jr.
doesn't make sense either.
Yeah. No, Fernando,
thing
Bryce Harper's going to be another one of those who underperforms his entire career. Bryce Harper, that's the one contract that they've given out that his numbers didn't even show it before that. Bryce Harper's had 2 good seasons in his first 7 years in the league. 2. And they gave him a 13-year, was it 13-year deal for Bryce Harper?
10-year, $100 million. No, 10-year, $300 million. Something like that.
Yeah, so 10-year deal for a guy who's had 2 good years in his first 7 is, a little crazy to me. Bryce Harper's always been overrated, if you ask me.
I think Manny Machado's the same way. But Moving on here, we're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers.
Timeout. No,
yeah, you can't just skip over that, buddy. You can't make a statement like that, Mr. Baseball, and come out here and say Manny Machado's overrated. How was Manny Machado overrated?
Yes, please enlighten us on this one because you're about to get real.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course, your numbers should look good if you're playing on a team where you are legitimately the only good player on the team.
No,
that's all I'm gonna say.
not in baseball.
When he played for the Orioles,
not in baseball.
When he played for the Orioles,
if you're the only good player on your team
You're
in
not seeing
baseball,
anything to
it's
hit.
actually harder to succeed. Are you out of your
because
mind?
They
Have
don't,
you ever
they don't
seen
throw
a
you
pi-
any pitches.
Look, see this thing right behind me, Wyatt? That's
Yes.
a baseball, buddy. I don't think you've ever seen one before. Because with a comment like that, you are out of your mind. If you don't have anybody else on your team, it's harder for you to see good pitches. It's harder for you to get anything to hit. Teams are always pitching around you. They will walk
I'm just
you.
saying,
They will not give
his
you anything to
numbers
hit.
should look
And
good because he was the only player on the team that had good numbers. Go look
You
at the
are
Orioles. They're
wrong.
trash.
That's not how it works.
That's not how
Wyatt.
it works.
If you're the only good player in your team, you see shit pitches every time.
This is like that old lady commercial. That's not how that works. That's not how any of this works.
Anyways, we'll get to the part where everybody's supposed to drink now. Me and Tori are going to talk a lot about...
Wait. No. You don't get to just skip past the part where you were just completely wrong and made a bold Michael Buckheister-type statement and not have to get your ass whooped for 10 minutes on the show by the two guys who know more baseball than you will ever think about. How was Manny Machado overrated?
I think when
Give
he
me
went...
one season where he was overrated.
When he played with the Royals, I think when he went to the Padres for all that money, I think he was not worth the money. I think that whole summer, the only person that got paid the only person that got paid the mega deal that they got and they were worth it was Mike Trout. I think that was it.
When he went to San Diego from Baltimore, he was batting .315. He had 24 home runs at the trading deadline, and he had 65 RBI. This was at the trading deadline. What do you mean
when he played for the
wasn't worth
Dodgers that
money?
year, when he played for the Dodgers for the 1 year, he was not even the best player on that team. So he should not deserve more money than anybody on that team.
You are I don't even want to talk to you.
I'm telling you.
I don't wanna talk to you
Anyways,
right
we'll
now.
move on to the
Like,
Packers
no.
now. I'm ready to talk some Packers. And speaking of, Adam Schefter pretty much just writes his own stories now, I feel like, in his own sources. So this is a whole situation.
Wait!
Everything
Breaking
goes-
news, Wyatt.
Are you gonna tell me Adam Schefter's overrated now?
No, I actually
the
love Adam Schefter.
The Adam Schefter source was Chris Sims.
It was Chris Sims.
And Michael Buckheister.
Never mind.
Wait,
We're done with
wait,
the
time
segment.
out.
We're done with the
Chris
segment.
Sims.
No, we're done with
It
the
was
segment. We're moving
Chris
on. Chris
Sims.
Sims is perfectly right always. Gosh.
What happened
Anyway,
was Buckheister was talking to Schefter, and Buckheister was like, you know how Buckheister gets when he's trying to spit something out, so he's stuttering, but he has that long pause. Well, Schefter didn't have time to wait because another call was coming in, so he just made up the rest of what Buckheister was saying.
He just filled in the blanks. He just filled in the blanks.
Buckheister was like, Rodgers is, and then that call ended, and he was like, oh, he said Rodgers is not happy in Green Bay.
No, it's like
wants-
Rodgers is blank
He's like-
Green Bay.
Buck
Rodgers
was like-
is,
Buck was like,
Rodgers is leaving Green Bay.
What Rodgers is requesting to stretch, and then Schefter went trade, and then Buck said traffic.
No, so I mean, I don't. And it's also coming out that he like wrote this. He filled in blanks, is what he said, and I don't know. It's just very weird to me. You know, Schefter is one of those guys where I think there are three that I trust no matter what. If I see it come across my screen and it says Adam Schefter, I trust it. If it comes across my screen and it says Ian Rappaport, I trust it. Four names, sorry. If it comes off my name and it says Woj, Adrian Wojnarowski, I trust it. And Jeff Passan of ESPN, I
you're
trust
just
those.
holding on, Wyatt.
Huh?
I think you heard that story of Schefter saying, "Oh, I didn't really have any sources," and you're like, "Oh, Rodgers is staying! Yay!
Hey,
Happy
it's
day
weird.
in Green
It's
Bay."
weird. It's all. It's so weird that all in the same in a 2 day span, in a less than 2 day span, John Kuhn comes out. The
Wyatt,
guy
can I
who
ask you a
literally
question?
was the hold on. John Kuhn, literally, who was the glue for the Green Bay Packers for years. A guy who constantly broke up fights.
I wouldn't say the glue.
He was definitely the glue.
Wyatt.
That guy was the glue. Yeah, what?
Wyatt, okay. Let me ask you a question.
What?
If it was false, if somebody says something false about you, somebody says something that's absolutely not true, and then it's all over the place, say it's all over your school, are you going to go and say, hey, guys, look, I know what was said, but it's not the truth. Everything's good. Like, I'm looking forward to moving forward with this or that. Like, I mean, you're going to come out and say something, right? Like,
okay, here's what I'm going to say, okay? I'm going to tell a story here to answer this question. When I was in 5th grade, I farted in class, okay? And I looked over at the kid next to me and said...
And you started over Zen.
I did. I looked over at the kid next to me and I said, why did you do that? And the whole class looked at him, and if he would have said, I didn't do that, the whole class would have known right then that he did it. So I'm just saying, Aaron Rodgers is in that same situation. Adam Schefter farted in class.
Negative.
And Aaron Rodgers could sit there and go, I didn't say that, I didn't do that. And everybody would be like, all right, Aaron did. There it is. He did it. He did 100%. So he's in the same situation that I put.
Mind.
It's exactly what it is.
You are so stuck on I want to keep Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. I want to hold on to 12. Don't ever trade Aaron Rodgers. He's got to retire.
You're right.
Aaron Rodgers does not want to finish his career with Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers does not want to play another day in yellow and gold.
Do you ever watch Pat McAfee and AJ Hawk?
Love him.
I watch. Yeah, every once in a while.
Every single day I watch him.
Did you watch the Kentucky Derby last weekend?
Yeah, I did.
Who was Aaron Rodgers there with?
AJ Hawk and his wife.
AJ Hawk and his wife. And when AJ Hawk comes on and says, for him to say this is requested a trade and that he wants the GM fired, he said it's complete garbage.
Yeah.
So what did Aaron Rodgers say?
Aaron Rodgers hasn't said anything.
At this point, he doesn't.
I just feel like you Green Bay Packers fans are all sitting there with blinders on.
You know what? Hold on. This is from the Bears fan who was like, "Get Aaron Rodgers out. Get Aaron Rodgers out. Get him out. Get him out. Get Aaron Rodgers out. We need Aaron Rodgers out. We need him out. We need him out.
We don't need Aaron Rodgers.
The future of the NFC North is Justin Fields. The future of the NFC North is Justin Fields.
You know why we don't need Aaron Rodgers out? You just said it. We have Justin Fields now.
No.
We don't need Aaron Rodgers to leave
if Aaron Rodgers stays in Green Bay.
I really want Justin Fields to succeed, but I secretly hope he falls on his face just so we can make fun of
more. I want Justin Fields to succeed, but not in Chicago. Like, I want Justin Fields to play 4 years in Chicago and be like, hey, I hate this dump.
And be like, this place is trash. We're awful. Leave.
Hey, I kind of like that. I kind of like those 2 weeks where we stopped in Green Bay all the time in Wisconsin. Maybe I should go there.
That could very possibly happen. You know what my nightmare scenario is? What? Aaron Rodgers stays in Green Bay and plays 4 more years. The Bears can't figure it out as an organization and fail to improve Justin Fields. Justin Fields becomes a free agent and succeeds Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. That's my nightmare scenario as to what's going on. It's quite possible.
Genuinely, it's not that far-fetched. When Tom Brady left Foxborough, I feel like in my head at that moment I knew anything in the National Football League, anything in sports was possible. Yeah. The second I saw he left Foxborough, I knew, okay, anything's possible. Because that was crazy. But I want Justin Fields to succeed. I really do. I loved him in college, and I will love him as a pro, but not in a Bears uniform. I'll be like, hey, great pass, Justin Fields. Oh, your team sucks. That is my mentality always, and it always will be for Justin Fields. So I want him to succeed, but I'm telling you right now, if Aaron Rodgers stays for the rest of his career, just as long as we don't see some crazy regression or something, which I don't think we'll see, if Aaron Rodgers finishes his career in Green Bay, he'll play till he's in his mid-40s, I think. And when he does that, the Bears will beat him maybe 3 or 4 times of the next 8 years, maybe 3 times. And it's because of Justin Fields. That's it. They will never double up on the Packers, though. And then Jordan Love is going to follow that legacy right behind it. Calling it. You heard it here. You heard it here first. I mean, hey.
I think your underwear is on too tight.
I think if we are not keeping Jordan Love past his rookie contract for him in order for him to sit behind Rodgers for 7 years.
Yeah, that's true.
You would have to trade him.
Speaking of Pat McAfee show, the other show I listen to a lot is Colin Cowherd, and Colin said something today that yesterday.
There's a genius, Colin Cowherd. Let's listen to that guy.
He said something, and it actually, I think it made a lot of sense to me. If Jordan Love was the future of Green Bay, they would have already scrapped Aaron. If he got up there and they were like, okay, this kid's got it, he's the future of Green Bay, they would have already scrapped Aaron Rodgers. So that, in a sense, when he said that,
Why?
it made
It's
me
only
think.
been 2 seasons.
But still, you can tell if a guy's got it
Actually,
or if
one
they don't.
season. It's only been 1 season.
You can tell if a guy's got it or you can tell if they don't. You can tell it.
Right, but so they couldn't tell that Aaron Rodgers had it for 4 years while he sat underneath Brett Favre?
I mean, I don't know.
If so, then they need to reevaluate their entire organization.
Well,
Because if you couldn't see
know.
that this
I
guy,
just think,
who is now the 3rd greatest quarterback of all time, if you couldn't,
you got to think about it. Aaron Rodgers wasn't really impressive his first.
I'm sorry,
years.
second.
Aaron Rodgers' first year, he was
greatest
6-10. He wasn't really anything spectacular. In fact, Green Bay fans hated him whenever he first came. Have you ever watched his 60 Minutes or whatever, where they talked about how little kids
Brett
were like
Favre.
flipping him off and screaming at him? And,
They were
going to
hate him because he was replacing Brett Favre.
Well, yeah,
Brett
but
Favre was the idol in Green Bay.
He replaced Brett Favre and then went 6-10. That didn't go over well in Titletown.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. There's no reason why they would have. Look, I don't know if Jordan Love's the answer. I didn't think it was the answer when they drafted him.
If Jordan Love has something there, they would have scrapped Aaron Rodgers already. Especially if all this is true.
I sent you guys this meme earlier, but here's how the Packers handle Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers says, "Hey guys, I need you guys to pick up some milk and
bread,
cheese when you're on your way from the store." And the Packers are like, "Hey, I got you some apples."
I bought you a fire extinguisher, Aaron.
At least credit the meme there, Combs.
I don't know what the meme was from. It was from some
you can at least
Packers thing.
me.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. I
it's
can't
like
remember,
Aaron
but I
Rodgers
sent
is
it to
like,
you
"Hey guys,"
earlier.
Aaron Rodgers is like, "Hey guys, can you go get us some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches while you're out?" And they come back and it's a bag of frozen hot dogs. Like, what is this?
And that's where, to me, the final slap in the face. Even if this all wasn't true, even if Shefty had no knowledge of this and Shefty just completely made this up, and Aaron Rodgers has been noticeably upset about everything that's going on with the offensive side of the ball, they still went out and drafted a cornerback with their first round draft pick.
Yes, but I will add to what Torrey said the other day. Now that I've taken some time and really thought about it, and I can really break down that pick, it is a good pick, I think. I think Stokes was a good pick. He is possibly the fastest cornerback in this draft, and he is, if I had to compare him, of course I'm not comparing legendary-wise, I'm comparing style-wise. Not legend status, not any of that, because I'm not comparing him to this guy. Darrelle Revis, where you can literally leave him out there in man-to-man coverage, and that's all you need to do. Eric Stokes can sit out there by himself. He's fast enough. His reaction time is good enough. You can leave him out there. He can run with any of the receivers in the league. So, like I said, I am not comparing him to Darrelle Revis legendary-wise.
Can he run as a receiver?
He might be able to, honestly, how fast he is.
Unless he does, it's not a good pick for the Green Bay Packers.
Well, but I mean, you got to think Amari Rodgers is going to come in, and Amari wasn't a bad third rounder.
Wait, Combs, how was that not a bad pick?
What do you mean? It was a horrible. All right. So, who was your second best wide receiver this year?
Alan Lazard.
Okay, and he was ranked 63rd in the league.
Because he missed 6 games. He missed 6 games.
He missed he missed more than that, didn't he?
He
missed most of the season.
7 games.
All right, so your second best wide receiver missed half the season.
And still was a top
Your second best wide receiver missed half the season.
And still was a top wide receiver
That's what I'm saying.
And we still had the number 1 record in the NFC.
That's a good point. And behind that is Marquez Valdes-Scantling and Aquana St. Brown.
Our second best receiver was out most of the season, and we were still the second best team.
Well, hold on. You also got to think Robert Tonyan. Hold on. Robert Tonyan was a dog at tight end. Robert Tonyan was a dog at tight end. He led what didn't he lead the NFL in the NFC? He led the NFC in tight end touchdowns, didn't he? In
for
10?
Anybody who comes out, and I know Soup Boss came at me on the show on Thursday night, and then he's gone at me a couple times on his Sports Soup page on Facebook. Anybody who does not look at this organization and what they've done for Aaron Rodgers and say, if you look at the Green Bay Packers through the course of Aaron Rodgers' career and say, you know what, they've done enough to help him win. then you're fooling yourself. You're fooling yourself. It's pathetic what this team has done surrounding Aaron Rodgers, especially when it comes to the draft. Hell, when it comes to free agency, I mean, there's how many free agent wide receivers have there been that don't go to Green Bay? Like, it's baffling to me how
no Wisconsin teams are big free agent markets.
But stop. If you're winning
Stop
football,
what? It's a fact.
If you're
Nobody wants to come to play for the Bucks in Milwaukee.
A good organization,
nobody wants to come to Green Bay to play for the Packers.
If you're a good team and you're a winning organization, players will come to you. You think people want to go to New England and play in the freezing cold?
Nobody went to New England. Who went to New England? Who went to New England? What huge free agent signing did they ever have in New England?
Randy Moss.
Other than I'll give you that one. Other than Randy Moss, that's a good point. No, it was a trade. It was a trade, wasn't it?
It was a trade.
It was a trade. Okay. What? Okay. So free agent signing. We'll stick with that. What big free agent signing did they ever have?
I'd have to go back and look at it, but they've had
Corey
some really
Dillon.
good free agent signings. Yeah,
They've never. Small market teams don't bring anybody in. The Portland Trailblazers don't bring anybody in. They're still a good team. They've still got one of the top point guards in the league and a good shooting guard behind it. But the Portland Trailblazers don't bring anybody in. Your smaller market teams don't bring people in.
The Green Bay Packers are happy with being good enough. That's what the Green Bay Packers organization. What do you mean it's not true? They lose in the NFC Championship game every single year.
And every single year, that's not good enough. No, we're not.
Then why don't they get better, Wyatt? Why don't they get better? Why don't they draft
better? They did.
Why don't they go
They
find
did.
No, they who?
Eric Stokes and Jair Alexander will be the best cornerback pair in the league in 3 years.
Yeah, that's great. You got a great cornerback pair. But who are you throwing to when Devontae Adams is double-teamed?
Alan Lazard, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Robert Tonyan. Robert Tonyan led all NFC tight ends in touchdowns.
Amari Rodgers.
A.J. Dillon, pass-catching running back Aaron Jones.
You guys, I can't. You can't
Mercedes
talk
Lewis
to Green Bay Packers fans about the Green Bay Packers not being as good as they think they are. It's official.
We've been to NFC title games.
Tell you when the Bears aren't as good as people are going to say they are. You guys will not. Yes, great. They've been to 5 NFC Championship games. How many have taken them to the Super Bowl? It doesn't matter. You want to compare your organization to the Bears? That's like comparing a 5-course meal to McDonald's. A 5-star restaurant to
McDonald's. McDonald's quarter pounder is pretty good.
So just because the Bears suck, I can't have a normal point of view about the Green Bay Packers? The Green Bay Packers are okay with being good enough. Whatever.
They are not okay with being good enough.
We're not going to keep talking about this Green Bay Packers stuff because you guys obviously cannot be realistic about your team.
How are we not?
Your fanboy mentality will not allow you to be realistic about your team.
Combs, you're the one that sounds like a fan right now.
So how do I sound like what
you're
have they done?
Flow through you.
What have they done to become a Super Bowl contending team?
They signed one of the top cornerbacks in the draft.
You guys can talk amongst yourselves because this is going nowhere with this because you guys we can't talk about the Green Bay Packers being bad. We can't talk about the Green Bay Packers not picking. How have I lost my point? They still have done nothing to help on the offensive side of the ball. If you're okay going into the season with your second best wide receiver being the 63rd ranked wide receiver in all of the NFL, and you can say he missed all those games, fine, he missed all those games, then who was your second best wide receiver while he was out?
MVS.
Robert Tonyan. Robert Tonyan. Robert Tonyan. He led all NFC tight ends in touchdowns. The only other tight end that had more touchdowns than him this season was, who is it? Oh, Travis Kelce.
What? Aaron Rodgers threw 48 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. So
he threw 5 interceptions this year.
Or 5 still.
See, I know more about your team than you do, but go ahead. We'll keep talking.
So I don't get what you're saying. Like,
I'm telling you, he does not have enough help to win a Super Bowl, and they continue to not give him enough help to win a Super Bowl. You've got
I think the
number
move of
one
Eric
wide
Stokes,
receiver.
if Aaron Rodgers returns, I think the move of Eric Stokes was what gets us to the Super Bowl. The biggest reason why we didn't get to the Super Bowl last year was Kevin King. I have voiced this 100 times on this show.
No,
101
the reason
times.
why you didn't get to the Super Bowl is because Aaron Rodgers had a brain fart and didn't run for the corner of the end zone.
He would not have made it.
Yes, he would have.
I'm telling you right now, he would not have made it.
Okay. All right.
Combs, you're the only person who says he would make it. Tori, do you think he'd have made it?
No, he'd have got smoked.
Well, why? Yeah,
He'd have got
keep asking
killed.
Green Bay Packers fans. Let's ask somebody who's not a Green Bay Packers
Buck!
fan.
Ask Buck. Buck said he wouldn't
Let's
have
ask
made it.
somebody who's not a Green Bay Packers fan and who's actually smart.
Well, then that cancels out everybody on this show, all right? So, because everybody on this show either isn't smart or a Green Bay
If you
Packers
don't-
fan, or me and
if you
Tori are
don't
both,
think-
okay?
If
Me
you
and
don't-
Tori are
God,
both.
you know what? Let me share. I would love to run this play. When we come back from break, I'm gonna have this ready to go up, and I'm gonna show you guys why Aaron Rodgers would have made it. I don't care if we get kicked off of YouTube, Buck. We're showing this damn play.
All right. Well, with that being said, we will return to break, and Combs will try and explain
Drink.
how he wouldn't have made it, and me and Tori will talk some sense in him on how he would have made it. We will see you in 2 minutes. Welcome back to Man Hour, and like we said before the break, Combs is going to attempt to explain this to us. I'm not buying it, Tori isn't going to buy it, but we'll see. But before we get into that, I want to mention to everybody, hey, be sure to like and subscribe. We appreciate it extremely much, and $9.99 a month gets you a membership here. You will get a free sweatshirt every single year, and Combs, sir, take it away.
All right, so you're looking at this play right here, okay?
Yes.
And Aaron Rodgers, I'm going to let this thing play out.
Double stacked on the outside.
Yes, double stacked on the outside, but watch when he breaks through the line, comes right up through here through the guard and the center. You see how his guy gets blocked off right there? Now you look up here. Oh, where did he go here?
That looks like a hold as it is.
All right, so give me right here. Aaron Rodgers has all this room to the corner of the end zone here, all of this room over here. and he doesn't go anywhere, but he throws it back across his body towards the center of the end zone when he has nobody that's going to be able to tackle him. This view right here will show once he gets to that corner of the end zone, you'll look at, and everybody on the right side of the field is blocked off. The only guy that's got a chance to catch him is a linebacker who's coming off, but who's about 5 yards away from being able to tackle him. I don't understand where people think, or where I should say Packers fans think, that he couldn't have run this ball in. It's asinine to me to think that he couldn't have made this run. As fast
I have
as
still
Aaron
not
Rodgers
seen one
can
thing
be,
to
and
show
as
me he's
mobile
not
as
going to
he
make it
is,
in.
Watch. This play's going to come. This damn thing is so slow. I picked a bad
Just
video.
find the actual play.
Right there, right where he's about to throw the ball. Look at all this space in the corner of the end zone where that green line is pointing. You're telling me he couldn't have made that?
No.
You are
Because
out
you
of
have-
your
Hold on,
freaking
hold
mind.
on. Make
You
sure
have-
that video's
you
paused.
have
Hold on.
two
I'll explain it to you right here. I'll explain it to you right here. Okay, so if you look right at the 8-yard line, you've got a linebacker there that is hot on his trail, okay? Right there, yes,
but
that's
he's
him.
got a 5-yard beat on him to the corner of the end zone.
No, it doesn't
and
matter.
he's got the
Linebackers are
angle
so much
on
faster
him.
than they've ever been. Then you
Dude,
look
he's got
at the
angle.
wide receiver. There's two
First
wide
of all,
receivers
that's not a
being covered.
linebacker. That's Jason Pierre-Paul.
And Jace Pierre-Paul is incredibly athletic, so he could have caught him, and he's aerodynamic. So,
Come on, man.
just kidding. No, if you look at the end zone as well, right where the A is in Green Bay, okay, you see two wide receivers here. One is at the N in green, and one is at the A in Bay. So look at him. That right there, yes, right where you point. He could have broke off from that receiver and made it there as well. There is no way the receiver who has his back turned to him could have been able to turn around and block him without holding. So there would have been a flag there as well.
Watch where this play goes when he's about to throw the ball. Watch where this play goes when he's about to throw the ball. Both of those guys get cut off. Both of those guys have zero chance of making this tackle if he breaks off for the corner of the end zone. And we've seen
Because he threw the
we've
ball.
seen Aaron Rodgers
They
do
didn't
this on
come
many
after him
occasions.
because he threw the ball. They didn't come after him because he threw the ball.
Right.
The
safety was looking in the
safety
backfield the whole
As he
time,
threw the
though.
ball.
No,
Go back.
that
Go back.
safety is
Go
looking
back.
in the backfield
As he
and
threw
he's
the
turned
ball,
the
he
back.
got bumped by a defender.
Oh,
As
my
soon as he
God.
threw the ball, a defensive end came behind him and hit
gonna
him. Literally as he threw the ball. You can see it right there. He barely even got the pass off.
We're going to find a good video of this somewhere.
Just find the actual clip of the play.
That's what I'm looking for. I think that's what this one is.
Here we go. Okay.
This one's only 38 seconds long, so...
Okay. Okay. We got
Okay,
Antonio
and
Brown.
here we go. And here we go.
And more Antonio Brown.
And more Antonio Brown.
Antonio Brown.
definitely not
Gronkowski.
And
All right.
Not-
But at any rate...
Go back to that video
this
you
is
just
gonna
had.
bug me. Let me see. There's going to be one here. Somewhere along the lines. We're going on a fly here, people. Hang on.
It's totally unscripted.
Combs
It's totally off the cuff.
Combs has just learned how Google works, so please bear with these.
Bear with us here. Okay, here we go. All right, yes. So you see he breaks off here.
See-
Look at the two defenders directly behind him, Combs. There is
right
two
there.
defenders
No,
behind him,
no.
one in front of him, and two right there. In the end zone, he would not have made
Right.
it. There is
But you
literally
see-
no way.
God, this is such a bad video. But you see this safety right here who everybody's like, oh, that safety would have broke off and got him. That safety is facing the back end of the end zone the entire time. Doesn't even see
He
where
has his
Rodgers
eyes
is
on the
at.
quarterback.
The one
He
on the
blocked
left,
the
No,
pass.
he
the one on
not.
the right.
He blocked at the pass.
See,
Watch
now
the
this
safety
angle.
right here.
Pause it.
That safety right there was
He-
not
he-
going to catch Rodgers before he go. You would have had to change your direction. You would have had to change your direction to get to Rodgers
100%
there.
could have. 100% would have made it. I promise.
100%,
Combs,
110%
I
would
have
have made
watched
it.
that clip. I don't think you understand how many times I have watched that clip, okay? That clip broke my heart when it first happened. I will forever remember that play.
I know.
There
I
is
wanted
no
to watch
way.
it again so it would break your heart again.
Can
we watch it one more time?
I will go in. I will do the research for you. I will find out who those players were, what their 40-yard dashes was, what Aaron's is, and I will do the math to figure out if he could have made it or not. Or I'll watch a YouTube video
Aaron
to find out if
Rodgers
he
makes
could.
that play 10 times out of 10.
And also, if Matt LaFleur would have just gone for it, he could have got it in there as well.
I don't disagree with you there. Another reason why I don't blame Aaron Rodgers for wanting out of Green Bay.
If Kevin King would have been caught sleeping 37 times over 4 quarters,
or with 15 seconds to go in the second half.
Well, you don't have that problem anymore. You just drafted a savior cornerback in the first round.
I think he's going to be better than Kevin King. Heck, I think I'd be better than Kevin King.
My bold prediction is Eric Stokes is better than Justin Fields.
Ooh.
My bold prediction is that Aaron Rodgers wins the Super Bowl this year with the Denver Broncos.
No way. I don't know why he would want to go there, too. There's nothing there. And they're going to have to trade away half the freaking team to get him. So why would he want to go there? They're going to trade away all their picks, so there's not going to be anything to build around him.
I just want Aaron Rodgers out of Green Bay. That's all.
I know. Believe me, I know. Okay?
Well,
are you sure about that?
I was going to say, we're not quite sure which Hall of Famer we want next. So
exactly.
I mean, 30 years worth of Hall of Fame quarterback plays hard to go over.
Gosh, like who's next in line?
And then I get guys like the Soup Boss coming at me and saying, "Oh, well, the Patriots did, or the Packers have done just as much as the Patriots did for Tom Brady." If you think that the Patriots and the Packers organization have been run the same over the last 21 years, you are out of your frickin' mind.
The only thing that I never have gotten with that whole thing is how the hell did no other team figure out what the quote-unquote Patriot way was? Because these guys were pulling like, oh, we got Randy Moss for like a 7th-round pick. We got, they were making trades for veterans that weren't happy with their team, that were still towards the end of their prime, maybe going towards the twilight, but probably had a year or two good year left in them, and getting them for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree with you.
The Patriots are just one of those teams, one of those organizations. Robert Kraft is a great salesman. He does wonders with trying to do this and do that. They say it was built the Patriot way, but I believe it was really the Tom Brady way, because we're starting to see it now in Tampa Bay as well, and you're starting to see it less in New England, and only over the course of one season that they've been apart.
Yeah, I think it's the Tom Brady way. I think that it's what he held his players accountable for. I think that it's the same thing with, I think Antonio Brown is a perfect example of that. It's happening already in
Tampa Bay where they're restructuring contracts just to keep the team together.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're literally going to return every single player. I mean, that's never happened before. So I think it's just the Tom Brady way. I do agree with you. I think we could look no further than Antonio Brown for that, because, I mean, you look at AB, and ever since Vontaze Burfict hit him, cheap shot like that, he's never been the same. Okay, you go look at his time that he did.
Gronk?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
You go look at his time that he spent in LA with the Raiders. He had the whole issue with he froze his feet. He apparently called Mike Mayock some racial slurs and headed out of a meeting. They ended up cutting him, which then he released a video of him cheering in his yard for cutting. I mean, this is a guy who was off of his rocker. I mean, just crazy. Then he goes and joins Tampa Bay, and it's just like he's a normal guy again. So it's absolutely the Tom Brady way. Tom Brady holds his players accountable to a certain extent level that is just far better than anyone else in sports. I mean, we've never seen this before in sports. And that's why the separation from first and second place in the GOAT debate in football is so large. And this is from an Aaron Rodgers guy. I have Aaron at number 2, but the separation from Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers is so far. It's incredible.
That's because Brady has the championships over money mentality. Tom Brady will give up money to continue to win championships, and I believe Tom Brady can probably do it until he's 50.
You know why?
Of that mentality.
You know why? It's because of the Giselle way. It's because his wife makes triple what he does. Okay, if every player was like that in the NFL, they wouldn't care about money either.
It's true. It's a good point.
So I mean, I think Giselle plays a big part in that. But
honey, I just got $30 million. What are we gonna? Are we going?
It was
like,
no. It was honey. We just got $30 million. It's honey. We just got $30 million. He looks at her and goes, "Not 40 this month, really?"
She's like, she's like, I got that this month. Are you talking about for this month you made that?
Yeah. Yeah, Giselle's definitely the breadwinner in that home. But
she's
hey,
loaded.
Who cares? I mean, we would all love to be in Tom Brady's shoes.
So we are going to head.
His feet might stink, so I don't know if
you never know. But we are going to head to our final break here. When we come back, we've got Shop Talk. So be sure to drop every question that you have sports wise into the comments. We will answer whatever you
Chris
want.
Sims.
Yes, come on, Chris Sims. Lay it on us. Lay it on a stick. I want to see what you got to say. So with that being said, we will see you in 2 minutes. We'll be right back here
Okay, now
on
I
Man
gotta
Hour.
drink.
And welcome back to Man Hour. As you see, it is time for Shop Talk. Welcoming in the boys now, Man Hour _Combs, as Mr. BC, the Chicago man from Chi-Town up top. Then we've got the Wisconsinite right below him. That is Man Hour _Tory.
Yeah, that's
I am
right.
in your top left corner, Man Hour
Wisconsinite is below me.
_TWW. But hey, getting into Shop Talk, I want to start off with a story here. So we're on break just a second ago. And me and Nikki are sitting here, and we're watching the Atlanta and Phillies game.
Are you going to talk about the double play?
No. It was a great
was
play.
ridiculous. The
it was crazy.
Freaking nuts.
That was wild. But I look over there and I'm like, why are they all wearing pink? It's not October. And she goes,
"Oh my God,
it's Mother's Day."
You know
Wyatt.
how
and
many times I had to say that to people today, Wyatt? Not you two, really. We're literally sitting at my mom's house for Mother's Day. We all just gave her gifts, and we're watching the game, and everybody's like, why are the Cubs wearing pink? Somebody on the team had breast cancer?
Yeah.
I'm like, really?
No, I was like, it's not even October. Like, why are they wearing pink? And then she goes, it's
but see,
Mother's
I
Day,
expect
Wyatt.
that out of my family who doesn't really watch much sports. Wyatt, I mean, come on, man.
I know. I'm sorry, guys. I messed this one up big time. But hey,
you got my what the this week.
I know. The big thing I wanted to mention.
Is somebody on the team pregnant that they're wearing?
Somebody on the team. Somebody on the team.
Is this
pregnant?
a gender reveal?
But the big thing I wanted to mention here, I don't know if you guys saw this or not yet. The Kentucky Derby winner did not pass the drug test.
The
What?
jockey
You guys
or
see
the
that?
horse?
The jockey or the horse?
I
yeah.
guess they're giving no the horse. What do you mean the jockey? The jockey's roided out to smack the horse with the stick or something? What?
I
I
mean,
mean,
maybe.
could be. You never know.
You all better
I
never
know-
give me crap. I got my what the?
I know-
Okay, here we go.
I know nothing about horse racing.
No, the horse was
Yeah,
roided there. I guess they
talking
roided
about
up the horse.
racing. You didn't know why guys were wearing pink. We didn't know whether or not it was a horse or the jockey that got roided up.
Why would a
Maybe-
jockey
Well,
get
I
roided?
mean, maybe
is
he
the
had a
jockey
really
running
weak
around the
strap.
track and the horse is on his back? No, the horse.
I mean, maybe. Have you ever
and I
seen
said the
Futurama?
Derby winner, the Derby winning horse. Gosh, man, guys, come on.
I mean, the
anyways,
Derby winner
so
is really
I don't
like
know
the
what.
owner
Why?
and
Why? It's
the rider.
Send me my hats back.
I don't know. I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was roids. I don't know if it was like a beaver tranquilizer, like from dodgeball, that situation.
He said
I
beaver.
I love that show.
Was it
That
Winona's?
scene, that is my favorite scene where they're like, our winner is the Girl Scouts, and they're like, oh, actually, hold on, we have a issue here. One of the players tested positive for steroids and several beaver tranquilizers, and it like pans around the little girls, and then you see this one girl with like black arm hair. She goes, oh, and the little skinny girl goes Stan
What show are
Mallory
we
and
talking
smacks
about?
her.
Yeah, was that South Park? Or
No, it was in dodgeball.
Dodge? Yes, it was.
It was
So
in
Joseph
dodgeball.
wants to know if we can open the phone lines. We cannot, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Joseph.
Buck's not here.
Buck is not here. He's the one who runs all that stuff, and we do not have the capability to do that.
We will do that
tonight,
tomorrow, though.
unfortunately.
It-
but if you have any
if
questions,
you-
Joseph, go ahead and hit us
Yeah,
up. If you
text
want to
me
yell
or
at me
just
like
type
you
in, yeah.
normally do, feel free to yell at me like you normally do.
And if you got
or if you want
any,
to smack one of these guys around, feel free to smack one of these guys around.
If you want to get Mike's phone number, just check almost any men's bathroom.
Usually right around the hole in the stall.
right around that area. No, so I mean, I don't know what it was, but I saw that it had not passed its drug test. So, why? I guess they drugged horses.
So now
I guess,
what? So
I guess they
does he-
strip it
does
of
he
its victory.
forfeit?
No, I guess they just strip it of the victory and nobody gets it. So,
So
horse
does the
racing's
second
really
player?
weird. Like,
Wait, what?
yeah, no.
So
I
now
don't think there
nobody
can be
won
a
the
Triple
Kentucky
Crown.
Derby this year?
Well, no, they'll give it to somebody. They'll give it to second place, I'm sure. But like, you can't get the Triple Crown, I don't think, if you didn't actually win.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I could totally be lying to you, but I'm like 90% sure that if you didn't actually cross in first and you got awarded a win through a disqualification, you cannot get the Triple Crown. I could, like I said, I could totally be lying to you right now, but I am like 90% sure that you.
I was gonna
cannot.
say, are we playing liar liar?
Yeah, liar. Can you? Jeez.
You
But yeah,
want to hit on that game? You guys want to do some filler in here with what was that one that you guys were playing? Guess Who?
The Guess Who game?
Yeah, you want to play some Guess Who?
Yeah.
It's
All
got
right,
to
do
be
it.
Combs.
Buck's too easy to mind read.
You guys each
Okay.
want to take turns at picking one?
Yeah, so I'll go first. You guys try and guess this player, okay?
All right.
Wait, so it's got to be a current player, right? Yeah.
Yes, got to be a current player
Okay.
in either the MLB, in the NBA, or in the NFL.
Okay.
All right, and Tori,
Wow,
you
we
take
just
off
exclude
first.
the NHL, huh? Freaking
Well, I mean,
racist.
you would win every game if that was the case. Tori, you know what, Combs, you get deducted a question because of that crap. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. Tori, you go ahead and start us off, buddy.
Wait, I have a player in my head.
Who is
So
it?
if I'm starting, no,
No,
you gotta
well,
ask
I
the
think we're
question.
guessing. We're guessing.
You're-
Wyatt's got the player,
Oh
right?
my
We're
lord!
guessing.
Tori and Combs are guessing. I have a player in my head. Tori, you ask the first question.
Oh, do they play in the NFL?
Yes.
Are they a Green Bay Packer?
No. Not yet. No, I'm just kidding.
Are they in the AFC?
No.
Are they in the NFC North?
No.
Is it Tom Brady?
No.
Are they a Tampa Bay Buccaneer?
No.
Ooh. Do they play in the NFC West?
Yes.
Do they play in California?
Yes.
Is it Jimmy Garoppolo?
Yes.
Ding!
That was a good one.
All right, go ahead, Tori. You go. Your turn.
All right, I got
Why
my
you
guy
go
in my
first?
head. Yeah.
Okay. Do they play football?
No.
Do they play baseball?
Yes.
Crap. Oh, this is going to be a long one. Are they... Jesus. Is it Fernando Tatis?
No.
Is it Ronald Acuna Jr.?
No.
Well, that's the only two players I... No, I'm just kidding. Do they play for the Cubs?
No.
Do they play in the National League?
Yes.
Well, give me just a second. I got to find out what the National League... No, I'm just kidding. Do they... do they play... do they play on the eastern or the western side of the U.S.? No, sorry.
That's
Do
not
they
a
play
yes
on
or
the
no
we-
question.
If you cut the U.S. in half, would they play on the western side?
Yes.
Are they a Dodger?
No.
Are they a Padre?
Yes.
Is it Manny Machado?
No.
Oh,
Is it
you know what team it is now.
Yu Darvish?
No.
Oh, come on.
Is it Eric Hosmer?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, Combs. You and me go again, or do you want to do it?
All right. Tori, you go first.
Is it a football player?
No.
Basketball.
No.
Do they play in the American League?
Yes.
Are they on the... No, sorry. If you cut the U.S. in half, would they play on the eastern side?
I don't know. I don't know geography. So are you asking if they're... Are you asking...
Are
just
they
ask
in the
division.
AL East?
No.
Are they in the AL Central?
Yes.
Are they an Indian?
No.
Are they a Royal?
No.
Are they a White
Buck's
Sox?
not here. They are.
Is it Yasmani Grandal?
No.
Is it Mercedes?
No.
I'm trying to think. Is it Luis Roberts?
No.
Is it Tim Anderson?
No.
I know who it is. I know who it is.
I'm trying to think.
I got this.
Are you sure you got this?
I got it.
Who is it then?
It's Jose Abreu.
Is it Jose Abreu?
No.
I never gave my answer, so.
Oh, well, that was a good one. Is it...
My God. You guys could really narrow this down if you would just ask a certain question.
I would like, yeah. I
Are
already
they a
know what question
pitcher?
we should have.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, well.
See, I knew that. I was just like, shit. Oh, Christ. Is it... and it's a pitcher.
Yes.
I got this.
Keep saying that and you keep getting it wrong.
I know. How? I don't know.
Come on, Tori. Pick a pitcher.
Is it Lance Lynn?
No.
Is it Rodon?
Yes.
Yes, perfect game,
God,
baby.
took
Or
you
no,
guys
no,
long
no
enough.
hitter. No hitter.
Well, I was like, is he going to go somebody we all know? Is he going to go kind
And
of
Carlos
somebody
Rodon
else?
is a guy that you want to start from now on. If he's still available on your waiver wire, or if he's like a player that you can pick up, pick him up because Carlos Rodon is the real deal. And nobody saw this kid coming. I saw this kid coming. I said at the beginning of the year, Carlos Rodon is going to be a stud in this rotation. Carlos Rodon is the guy. Wyatt, why would you expect that I would know where you cut down the line?
The Mississippi River would be considered the middle point.
So, Tori, send us out, buddy.
Man Hour Nation.
That's my job. Man Hour Nation.
Combs.
Rise up.